Hey guys, today I thought I'd just talk real briefly about a gun that may not be quite as bizarre and funky as some of the other guns I talk about, like the Gyrojet and Dartic and everything, but I still think it's pretty cool, and my particular setup I think is a bit unique in its own way. It's a Walther P99 with a threaded barrel, and I like to shoot it with an AAC TiRANT silencer, and I don't usually see guys using these as suppressor hosts, so I thought I'd make this video sort of for anyone with a P99 that's been thinking about getting a threaded barrel for theirs, just so I could sort of share my experiences with it. And related to that, it's also, this video is going to be a little bit of a personal redemption sort of in a way, because last summer I made a video of my dad shooting this with the silencer on it, and it's gotten a lot more views than I thought it would. It's gotten some negative feedback on it, so I just thought I'd address some of the concerns with it. So I'll get to that in a minute though. Start off with, I'll just talk a little bit about the gun itself. It's a P99 9mm. It's first generation, which you can tell by the shape of the grip serrations here, or the slide serrations I mean. The ski hump is a little bit bigger than in later models. This right here is a dead giveaway, the proprietary rail. Personally, I like the look of the first generation over the later ones. Just think it has a cooler look to it, so I sought that out. Also, the first generation ones, the real early ones, they all had the AS trigger, which I think is kind of interesting, and it's something to talk about for a minute too. What it is the trigger on these, it has an AS mode, which I've just engaged. I'll decock it again so I can show you exactly what happens, which is kind of an interesting feature in its own way also. You can decock these. So right now it's in double action mode with the long double action trigger pull every single time, which is kind of cool because if a round doesn't go off for whatever reason, you got double strike capability because it has double action pull, unlike maybe like a Glock or something. But what the AS stands for anti-stress. What happens is when the gun is cocked, right now the trigger pull is quite long, but it's also quite light. It's like a single action trigger basically with a double action length of pull. So this trigger pull is going all the way back, but there's almost no weight until right about there, and then it'll go off. Then on subsequent shots, it'll come out and stop there. So you got a shorter single action trigger to work with. And it still has a little bit of take up like a double action single action gun typically has in single action mode, but it's not nearly as long. Overall, the trigger's pretty good. It does definitely take some getting used to. The whole AS system is a bit unique, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. Really, I found the secret to success with shooting these things is to ride the reset. So you pull the trigger, and this reset is incredibly short. And it's really loud. It's just a really good reset. It just barely moves out, and it's already reset. And from there, it barely moves at all. It'll go off again. I found that's the most accurate way to shoot these guns. But yeah, overall, I like the gun a lot. Ergonomics are good. It has interchangeable back straps, you know. It's just as reliable as any other polymer pistol out there, Glock, M&P, anything like that. Even dirty, which I'll talk about in a minute, what happened in my video last summer, but never had any real reliability issues with it. Shoots fine, accurate, all that stuff. So anyway, moving on to the second part of my video, I'm going to talk about using this gun as a silencer host, which you may notice I do have a threaded barrel on here. This is actually a factory Walther barrel, and it's kind of cool because this one actually has the same date code as the year of the gun this was made in, AA. It's kind of cool that they're made in the same year. It's a left-handed threaded metric barrel, which is okay because my TiRANT already had that configuration. So let me go ahead and put the can on there for you, and just talk a little bit about how that works. So screw that on. There it is with the 9mm AAC TiRANT. And like I mentioned earlier, part of the reason I'm making this video is because a video I made last summer of my dad shooting this gun. A lot of the shooting videos that I've uploaded are actually of him or my brother shooting because I'm sort of the cameraman. I can frame it how I want and everything, so I have them shoot it. But a couple things. It's gotten a lot more views than I ever expected it would, first off, and it's a little bit embarrassing, I'll just be honest with you, because my dad, he does this thing where he's kind of like rocking his hand and really kind of hamming up the recoil or something, so that's embarrassing. But apart from that, this gun in particular, on that day that we were shooting this video, it was extremely dirty. It had gone 10,000 rounds or so without being cleaned or lubed or anything like that, and I actually had never even thought about it because the gun ran fine, even in that dirty state. Didn't have a single malfunction all day until I put this on and we started filming it. And then all of a sudden it failed to return to battery on every third shot, fourth shot, or something like that. And the issue was basically, it just came down to it being a dirty gun, it being a dry gun. It had no lubrication on it. It was just completely dry. And what would happen is the battery, or the slide, would just kind of get hung up sort of somewhere like right here. And what my dad would have to do is pull the trigger again, and it would send the slide home again. And then because of the dual strike capability, he was able to pull the trigger again and send the round off. But this is a problem that I've seen happen in other guns that are dirty with the silencer on there. You know, it is just adding another variable to the whole equation when you put this big old can on the end of the barrel. I've seen it happen to M&Ps. I actually saw a Glock, I think it was a 19, do this once. Also my Steyr M9 had the same problem until I lubed it up and cleaned it up real nicely. So it isn't a problem exclusive to the P99s, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that for a minute, because once I cleaned this thing up and put some oil in it and everything, it ran. I think I shot another 400 rounds or something like that with this can on it, not a single hiccup or anything like was in the video. Unfortunately that day I was running out of time, so I didn't get to shoot much video of it working fine, which kind of regret, because got a lot of views on that video and got some negative feedback on my dad's shooting technique and just the fact that it was not totally reliable. But I kind of just wanted to redeem myself in a way and talk about the exceptional reliability of the P99 with the silencer once it's clean, and a lot of fun to shoot. Another thing to consider though, with the P99 and a can on it, there are no raised sights for it, so that's kind of annoying that you have to sight through the can. Like on the H&K Tactical USP, it has raised sights so that you can see over the can. It's just a little bit annoying. You can't be super precise with sights when you can't see over it. You kind of have to just imagine your target and the front dot being on top of it. But otherwise, you know, if it's clean, the gun is totally reliable. The AAC TiRANT is nice and is really quiet, like shooting subsonic ammo through it. And yeah, the P99 makes a great suppressor host in my opinion. Just got to make sure that it's clean, I guess. And like I said, I had not even cleaned this gun, I think, since I bought it years ago. So it was extremely filthy, and since then it's run great. So definitely recommend silencing one if you have one. The threaded barrel, I think your best bet is to just look on the used market for them. There's a guy up in the Northeast somewhere named Earl. Earl's Repair Shop is his name of his business, and he sells the threaded barrels, but they're real expensive. I found mine on Walther forums at some point and bought it for reasonably cheap. So, but just keep in mind that the factory barrels are left-hand metric, 13.5. So, you need to make sure your can is threaded for that. And yeah, so that's the Walther P99 with the AAC TiRANT. Great silencer host, very quiet, accurate, cool looking to boot. Feel like Pierce Brosnan, James Bond or something with it. So, and believe me, it's very reliable once it's clean. So, thanks for watching.